Commanders hire Dan Quinn to match with their new general manager, Adam Peters, to lead this franchise into the future.
The way that we live is not for everybody, okay? It's not, all right? Because we're going to run and put our bodies on people in a violent manner.
Whether the team is giving us the highest of highs or the bluest of blues, we'll cover it all here on Commanders Nightly News. I, of course, am your host, Louie T. Thank you for joining me. Let's get to tonight's lead story. So, we up right now. What's new, right? The new power rankings are out. And I told you guys on Sunday after the game, check those. We're going to probably be hitting the top 10 for some of these publications. It's been a long time since we've been 4 games in and we've hit anybody's top 10 in the power ranking, right? I've had multiple people send me Stephen A. Smith's A-list. I don't give a shit about what Stephen A. is talking about, but he had us at 5, which blew some people away. But I told you Sports Illustrated, who was really feeling us last week, they had us the lowest of anybody or highest, however you term the list, at 14. No one had us at that high on their power rankings. So I was like, Sports Illustrated is definitely going to have us in the top 10. Could I have imagined 5? They have us at 5. That's the highest anyone has us on their list. A number of publications have us at 9. A couple have us at 10. So you see where this is trending. And now there are expectations. And I know this group is different. It feels different because it is different. So I'm not worried about them not being able to handle success or any of that. It's just about going out and executing week in and week out. Like, this is an opponent coming up in the Browns that you feel like we should be able to beat. I got some bad news for y'all, though. I got some bad news. We're going to talk about that in other news. But it's so good to see all of the good juju and the good vibes surrounding this team. They've worked hard. They've put themselves in a position to reap the benefits of that, and we want to keep that party going. I think I hearken all the way back to week 1 and how disappointed Dan Quinn was after the loss, directly after the game, post-game presser. I remember the look on his face. He was dejected, disappointed. He wasn't upset. He was disappointed because he said, we put in the work. We felt prepared to take on the Bucs and go out and win this game, and we didn't get it done. And he hasn't had that feeling since. And I just remember thinking about how I felt after that game, knowing that I thought we would be more prepared. I felt kind of the same way Dan Quinn did. Felt like we would be more prepared, right? I feel like this is a really good staff. I feel like we got a solid group of players that are buying into what this staff is preaching. We got real teachers on this staff. And so I just thought the product would look better. It has ever since then. And so it's about continuing to do that week in and week out. The consistency of it is what I've been preaching. And it's going to lead us to things like being in people's top 10 or the top 5 of a power, index or power ranking. And, oh, by the way, speaking of reaping the benefits and being in demand, right? We are in demand now. If you didn't know, the Commanders are in demand. We're everywhere. We're on a lot of people's show now when they're talking about this portion of the NFL or teams that have done this or teams they want to highlight from the past weekend. You score 42 points, you get on people's radar. And so we're in demand. You know who else is in demand? Jaden Daniels, #1 selling jersey on Fanatics. When's the last time we had a #1 selling jersey? I just think about that. We've had some guys that have sold jerseys around here. Chase Young sold a bunch of jerseys when he got here that first season. But you probably got to go all the way back to Robert Griffin III in 2012 for the last time somebody was even close to the top of the list of selling jerseys for this organization. I mean, that's what quarterbacks do, though. They move the needle. And he's a needle mover in more ways than one. So happy for the success of this team. So happy for the fan base, man. We deserve this. Celebrate. Like, don't feel bad about feeling good. Okay? Don't ever let somebody make you feel bad about feeling good. They want to tell you about we haven't played anybody, this, that, and the third. Let that roll right off your back. We don't control who we play. All we can control is the outcome, the effort we put forth and how the outcome is determined. We can control all those things. And so far, 3 out of 4 games this season, we've been the better squad and we've gotten it done. The schedule will get tougher. There'll be games where we'll be able to test ourselves and we'll have those litmus tests to see where we truly are. But until then, find ways to win games like the one coming up this weekend against the Cleveland Browns, against a team that's not better than you. Find a way to win that game. And it won't be easy. But we got plenty of time to talk about that. It's not Wednesday yet. We're still on the euphoric high of a 40 burger that was oh so delicious on Sunday. Bask in that. But we continue to climb. Let's not fall, right? Let's not take a misstep this week. Let's continue to climb. And I got confidence in this group that they'll continue to climb, right? Let's get to in other news. We'll talk about the NFC East. We'll go around the NFC East here in a second, but we have some roster news for the Commanders. Some moves were made today, so let's take a look at that real quick. All right, this is from Ben Standing on Twitter. Practice squad moves. So when's the last time you saw our practice squad being poached? Now, it probably happened last year. It probably happened the year before that. It just doesn't feel like people were coming in and taking our stuff away the last couple of years, but I'm pretty sure it's happened. But out is Max Scarpering, who is signed to the Pittsburgh Steelers active roster. Out is Jalen Graham, who was signed to the San Francisco 49ers active roster. In, guard Marquise Haynes and safety Sheldrick Redwine. All right, and Sheldrick had a really nice finish to the preseason here in Washington. We signed him for that final game, and he actually didn't play that bad. So those were the quick moves made by the team today. And also have a bit of disturbing news as we head into tomorrow's attention flipping to the Cleveland Browns. Week 4, or week 5 rather, means that all the players that were placed on IR can now start to practice, and they have that window now open. I don't know what that means for this upcoming week, and I'm hoping that this is just a ramp-up period and that we won't get any Nicholas Chubb. But Nicholas Chubb tweeted out and posted on IG a helmet essentially saying, I'm ready to get back to work. And I'm like, hey, bro, just give me one more week. Just give me one more week. And then I'll be cheering for you as hard as any NFL fan that is not a fan of the Browns. Just give me one more week, bro. I do not want to see Nicholas Chubb on the football field on Sunday. That is the last thing we need right now. I'll deal with Ford. I'll deal with Ford all day long, all day strong. Please do not let Nicholas Chubb make his season debut against us in week 5. I'm begging you, Chubb. Just give me one more week, man. One more week. I saw that post and I said, uh-oh. You remember that scene in Waterboy when Coach Boyu looks across the sidelines and sees Bobby Boucher showed up at halftime? He said, shit, he's here. That's how I felt when I saw that post from Nick Chubb. Shit, he might be back. But again, it's Tuesday. We'll turn our attention to that on Wednesday. Right now, I'm still going to bask in the 40 burger that was created on Sunday. Anyway, speaking of basking in the 40 burger that was produced on Sunday, that win put us at 3-1 on the season, and it gave us sole possession of first place. So let's talk about the NFC East very quickly before we move on. The Eagles lost to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I believe that final score was 33-16. I think is what that score ended up being, if I'm not mistaken. That was a total beatdown. That game was. As a matter of fact, let me get the exact score for you. It was a total beatdown if you watch. Now, they did make it interesting at one point. They blocked a extra point and returned it for 2 points. And so things got a little interesting for a spell there, but that Denny's was open. So you knew it was only a matter of time. And yeah, 33-16 was the final score. Denny's was open. So it was only a matter of time before the Buccaneers went back down the field and got points because Denny's was open. So, of course, they went down the field, scored again, made it look easy, and put the Eagles back to sleep. And look, by no means are the Eagles going to just go away quite quietly into the night. I need you to understand that. And I make jokes and I point and I laugh, and look, their defense isn't good. Neither is ours. Neither is any defense for that matter in this division. So they're going to get healthy on offense. They looked bad on offense, but guess what? They didn't have two of their best targets for Jalen Hurts to get the football to, and they didn't have their right tackle, and there was tons of pressure on Hurts in this game. I don't know if I've ever seen him sacked that many times in a ball game. But you know what? Tampa does that to him because the last time they played Tampa, they blitzed, zero blitz all game long, and they had no answers. They seem to know how to get pressure on Hurts for some inexplicable reason, but they'll be healthy after the bye week. And I expect them to be able to start scoring points. And whatever happens with them happens. But my goal is to create distance. They're on a bye week, win again, right? And so when they come off this bye, they should be staring at a game and a half deficit between them and us. Or us and them, rather. Excuse me. We should be 4-1, and they should be 2-2. And now they got work to do. Dallas, we'll see what happens with them. They've got the Pittsburgh Steelers. Steelers are coming off their first loss of the season. And it's a home game for the Steelers on Sunday Night Football. That's going to be an interesting game. Raucous environment. You know the terrible towels will be out. You're talking about two of the biggest fan bases in the NFL squaring off, but the Steelers, they trump everybody. No one travels like the Steelers, and they're at home and in a big time spot. First time this year they're on prime time. Oh, it's gonna be lit. How will the Cowboys handle that environment? It'll be interesting to see. This one, like Justin Fields had his best game of his Steelers career on Sunday, even though it was in a loss. It wasn't because of him, and so if he can duplicate that, and this Dallas defense will allow him to. Right? And they might not have Michael Parsons. And if they don't have Michael Parsons, they ain't got shit on defense. They're already going to be down Tank Lawrence. So the real question is, what Cowboys offense shows up? And if the Steelers can sink their teeth into that Cowboys offense, this could be a repeat. I think the Cowboys were on Sunday Night Football in Week 5 last year against the San Francisco 49ers, and we know how that game went. This could be a repeat of that if that offense doesn't show up. Now, the Steelers may not have the offensive firepower to do what the 49ers did and put up 40, but if they score 30, that's as good as 40 for the Steelers. They score 30, that's like scoring 50 for them. So we'll see. They could easily be 2-3. And then the Giants, they're 1-3 right now, but they could easily be 3-1, right? But they're a drop away from beating us, and they had every opportunity. You could argue drops is what doomed them against Dallas on Thursday night. They could easily be 3-1 right now, but they're not. And we know there's a cap on what they can do this year based off of their offense. They just don't score enough points. So we're really not concerned with them right now. But I'm not going to disrespect them. But at the end of the day, it's all about us. It's all about us. We just need to keep doing what we've been doing. Keep playing winning football. And the rest will take care of itself. That's kind of where I'm at with mine right now. Just keep taking care of what we have to do, and everything else will fall into place. So, looking forward to seeing what happens this upcoming week with the rest of the division, with us. And again, Philadelphia's on a bye week. Cowboys are playing the Pittsburgh Steelers on Sunday Night Football in Pittsburgh. And the Giants are taking on the Seattle Seahawks, if I'm not mistaken. Let me double check that, but I'm pretty sure that the Giants are playing the Seahawks this week. I think in Seattle, no less. Yeah, and we just saw Seattle last night, and they look pretty good. They showed why they were an undefeated team going into the game, and even though they lost, they earned a lot of respect, I think, around the league. So I think every team in the division could lose this week outside of us again, right? And obviously the Eagles aren't playing, so take advantage. Like, if we got an opportunity at home against a team that's only won one game this season, take advantage. Do what you're supposed to do. Boy, I hope Nick Chubb isn't back this week. I want Jerome Ford. I've never wanted to see Jerome Ford get the bulk of the carries, all of the carries, more in my life than this week. One more week of Jerome, I say. Anyway, I digress. That's going to do it for me, your man Louie T, on this quick Tuesday episode of Commanders Nightly News. I didn't need to talk your head off today. The real party starts tomorrow when we get back to work. We'll hear from Dan Quinn. We'll hear from Jaden Daniels. And we'll start to turn our attention, take our first look at the Cleveland Browns, start to talk about what it's going to take to get that done. I'll just tell you this, just kind of looking forward a bit. Vegas still is not sold, and I don't blame them. Only 3-point favorites in this game. 3 points at home is nothing in this league. So I'm here to tell you that, we really got to go out and show why we're capable of being one of the better teams in the NFL. And Vegas isn't sold right now. So let's go make an example out of the Cleveland Browns. Everybody else in the division did it. It's our turn. Hey, Nick Chubb, give me one more week, man. One more week. I'll see you guys next time. Matter of fact, I'm going to be on Rio's show tonight with Ed and Rico. You know what it is. The Kings are linking up tonight, 8 o'clock on Rio's channel. So lock in, pull up, and we're going to have us some fun tonight. So hopefully you'll be able to join us for that. But until then, I'm your man Louie T, signing off. Also, real quick, sorry. Film tonight for the mob. All right? So we're going to jump into that film tonight. Get that out of the way so we can clearly turn our attention to the Cleveland Browns on Wednesday. So if you're a member of the mob, I'm going to be on with Rio and the fellas. After that, I got a kickback session. And then after that, we jumping into the film. So look forward to chopping it up with y'all and getting into that film and talking about some of the things that we did well, some of the things we can improve upon, highlighting some of the guys that played really well, highlighting some of the guys that need to step it up, et cetera, et cetera. So I'll see you for that later. Until then, you guys take care. Have a good one.
Here comes the diesel. Here comes the diesel. There's the snap, hand to Riggins. Good hold. He's got the first down.